I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is missing Michigan mom, Ashley Elkins. She was a young mom doing an amazing job raising two boys. But all that stopped when she went missing in a case that is absolutely devastating an entire family. Here's the story. Ashley Elkins is a young mother of two boys. She lives in Warren, Michigan. On January 2nd, 2025, she left her home at around 8:30 a.m. to run some errands and pick up some beauty supplies. Ashley is a beautician who sees customers in her home. After she left home that day, she was never seen or heard from again. Her phone pinged in the area near her boyfriend's apartment. His name is DeAndre Booker. Ashley's car was recovered a few miles away from there. Investigators obtained a search warrant and went inside Booker's home. They indicated there was substantial evidence collected inside, and they also indicated that based upon that evidence, they believe Ashley was murdered. Booker was booked, but not for murder, instead for lying to police. Meanwhile, the search for Ashley continues. This is a tough one. Such a young mom. And doing such a great job. You think about it, when you're young, you've got two boys and you're taking care of them, you're working hard, you're doing everything right, everything you're supposed to be doing. And then something like this happens. I want to put this up. This is from WXYZ, our great affiliate out there in Michigan. And this is from January 8th, 2025. DeAndre Booker charged with lying to peace officer. The ex-boyfriend of a Warren woman who went missing last week has been arrested in connection to her case, police said. Investigators said he is the primary suspect. And that's important. Sometimes they won't say that there's a suspect or a person of interest. They're just gathering evidence. But here, very clear that he is the primary suspect, which brings us to the first question in our investigation. Why? Why is DeAndre Booker the primary suspect in all this? What do police know? What is the evidence that is out there right now? And why are they connecting him to this disappearance, which appears to be really a homicide investigation at this point? Joining me, Ashley Elkins' uncle, Maurice Morton, and retired police officer for 2 decades, an expert at analyzing crime scenes, now trains investigators. Mike McCutcheon is with us as well. Maurice, let me begin, first of all, on behalf of everyone here at Court TV, our thoughts, our prayers are with your family. Tell me tonight, how is the family doing, number one? And number two, what are the family's thoughts about DeAndre Booker?
Well, thank you for having me on your show, and thank you for the question. It's very tough for the family right now. The police are doing an active search for her remains right now at a landfill. So the last 2 days we've been on pins and needles, waiting from word from the police on whether or not they've located her remains. As it relates to DeAndre Booker, the family's clear. He's a monster. And, everything, all the evidence points to this being a premeditated crime, something that he planned. The family is convinced that he was outside her home when she left out that day, that he abducted her, took her to his home, where he subsequently murdered her. So, nothing but ill feelings towards him. Can't believe he did what he did. He was very close to the family, and it's just no words for what he did. Just an absolute monster.
Mike, I want to play Stephen Fox's, what he said in court for the the first appearance of Booker. Take a listen to what the assistant prosecuting attorney had to say.
Obviously, we're here on a 4-year felony for lying to a peace officer on a violent crime investigation. This is, of course, as your Honor is aware, involving Ms. Elkins. And the court is to consider MCR 6.106F and MCL 765.6, a number of factors. I'm going to hit on a few if you don't mind. The first is the protection of the public. The underlying matter, although not the charge specifically, but the underlying matter obviously involves a crime of violence, potentially. We are still seeking Ms. Elkins. The defendant, we suspect and believe, may know where she is, and a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet. So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public, specifically if she were still alive, and that's what we're all hoping for, of course. The other is the defendant's risk of non-appearance and the likelihood of conviction. Likelihood of conviction, Judge, the defendant made several material factual misstatements to Detective Lasprins and recited those to the court during the course of the initial swear-to. The defendant was aware that we were investigating a missing persons report. He was aware that there was some belief of his involvement. He made misstatements about both his location as well as Ms. Elkins and how she may have left his vehicle, left his apartment complex, all of which we can demonstrate by objective evidence and video evidence to be false. So there's a high likelihood of conviction on these cases, on these matters. And then last and most importantly for the court's consideration, I think at this point, is the probability or improbability of returning for trial. We have a history that includes charges at least. We do not have the disposition, but we did recover DD-214 from his time in the U.S. Army. It looks like in 2016 he was charged with a couple of matters, including larceny of private property and, more importantly, fraudulent ID documents. And then in 2017, he was charged with desertion or the absence without leave, going AWOL from the Army. Ultimately, he was discharged less than honorably, although it was not a dishonorable discharge. He was discharged from the Army in a less than honorable means or manner. We know that after the conversations, before the conversations with Detective Lasprins, but we believe after the underlying events of this case, he fled from Macomb County, went to Flint, where he was apprehended and brought back to Roseville. And we know that during that time, while he was in Flint, he accessed the internet to search for such things as fastest routes from Flint to Ohio, what to do on the run, is blood traceable, how to beat a polygraph, and deleting Google history. So, Judge, I think by his own words and search history, by his prior conduct, and by what is, frankly, at stake in this particular matter, he's of significant risk of flight. With that, I would request a significant bond. I'm asking for a $500,000 cash surety bond, no 10%, and that a steel cuff GPS tether be attached should he make that bond.
All right, Mike McCutcheon, retired police officer. It seems there's a lot going on here, right? These internet searches about fleeing, how to beat a polygraph, is blood traceable, desertion from the Army, all goes to character and his ability to leave. But they also caught him lying. How important is that when you're initially investigating and someone is provably lying to you?
It's very simple. If you an innocent person, if you ask them a question, they'll be able to answer it. If you're lying, especially in a situation where someone's life is on the line, someone that he is supposedly cares about and would be concerned for if she was missing, of course he would be honest, because he would have a legitimate feeling that he wants to find where Ashley is. The only reason he wouldn't is because he doesn't want you to find where she is. And that would be most concerning, as somebody who's supposed to be important in her life, her boyfriend, doesn't help you to try to find her. That'd be unbelievably concerning.
Maurice, what type of evidence has been found? Because it seemed like they executed the search warrant of Booker's home, and then they were convinced after that. Do we have any idea the type of things they may have found there?
Well, in speaking with police, they indicated to the family that they found substantial evidence inside that apartment, as well as inside a dumpster behind the apartment. In fact, they hauled the dumpster away, which I think that evidence is what led them to the landfill that they're searching now for her remains. Reading between the lines, it appears there was substantial blood evidence, which is probably why he was researching, is blood evidence traceable? He was concerned, he was worried, and, you know, this was planned out by him. You know, he probably thought he was much smarter than everyone else, which obviously he isn't. But it's, you know, obviously a lot of blood evidence was collected.
So, Maurice, I know you have to go tonight, so I wanted to ask you another question about the family. And like you're saying, there's a search ongoing. Is there any hope that she could be found alive somewhere, or based upon all the information they've gotten, the way police are acting and communicating, that that's no longer a possibility in the minds of the family?
Yeah, the family has come to, you know, a conclusion that, you know, Ashley was unfortunately murdered based upon the evidence that has come out thus far in our conversations with police. You know, we know not only have they collected substantial evidence in the home, but her car, her vehicle was recovered as well. There's been no word from Ashley, no sighting of Ashley since the day that she's gone missing, which is not, you know, which is out of her character, because she has 2 young children, 7 and 10 years old, that she loves to death, that she adores, and she hasn't reached out at all. But after being presented with the evidence that the police do have at this point in the case, you know, we feel that she is in fact deceased, unfortunately, and now for the family it's important to find her remains, and so that's why the search that's going on now, despite, you know, the cold weather up here in Michigan, is very important, because it will help the family, you know, achieve closure, hopefully, and then we can get on to the next phase of this, which is securing justice, and hopefully DeAndre is ultimately charged with murder and one day ultimately convicted.
Mike McCutcheon, take us inside that home. What type of evidence would you expect that they found that they could come to this conclusion, even without finding Ashley?
So I'm sure if looking at 2 things, his digital footprint, looking for the blood, but even without that, if they have come to the conclusion that she's deceased, the amount of DNA that you need to collect to be able to make a positive identification now is so small. So they're probably using something like luminol or Blue Star to find blood that's been cleaned up. Maybe a chemical called leucocrystal violet, which interacts with the blood to look for footwear, if he was wearing footwear, so that you can compare it to the footwear that he had. And some of the things that he may be disposing of aren't specifically Ashley's, they may be his. So if they're able to find footwear, for example, that is on her clothing or near those dumpsters, and they can match the shoes that he has, that is going to be a clue. And then any signs of a struggle or a cleanup, and again, that's something that if there's blood evidence, that the luminol or Blue Star is going to be able to indicate when they spray that, because they're going to be able to see that it was cleaned.
All right, Mike McCutcheon's going to stay with us. Maurice, I know you have to go. Appreciate you making time for us tonight. Please, again, express our deepest condolences to the family. Let them know we're thinking about them. And they have such a great spokesperson. I'm so glad that you're able to be the voice of the family, Maurice. Thank you so much. Coming up next.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Coming up next, what was going on in their relationship?
Does he have any violence or history of violence or anything?
I never knew he was violent, but now that I find out things, I know he was stalking, and some things happened, but I found out later from friends first that, yeah.
So he was...
A Ponzi scheme and a deadly poisoning.
A former pharmacist already convicted in a federal fraud case.
Now stands trial for the murder of her husband.
The financial crime gives rise to murder.
Did Natalie Cochran kill to cover up other crimes?
We're not here to obtain convictions. We're here to obtain the truth.
Now a jury will decide her fate, and Court TV will bring you every minute.
The Ponzi scheme murder trial. Live coverage begins this week, only on Court TV.
Does he have any violent or history of violence or anything?
I never knew he was violent, but now that I find out things, I know he was stalking, and some things happened, but I found out later from friends first that, yeah.
So you think he was kind of controlling, possessive?
That I know he was, because he would go through her phone, and she was doing hair at home, and he had a problem with men coming in to get their dreads and stuff done. And so she had got a booth somewhere on 8 Mile, so that she wouldn't have any problems with him. Then when they broke up, then she just went back and started doing it from her house.
When did they break up?
I want to say September.
That was Ashley's mom, Monica Elkins, speaking about this relationship. I want you to take a listen to something else she said about the defendant, DeAndre Booker, and her daughter, and what was going on, what the family thought of him, right? You know, she's dating someone, she's got children. What'd they think of this guy? Take a listen.
And how long were they dating?
A year.
Can you describe their relationship? Have you been around them when they were?
Yeah, he was around my whole family. When I say I thought he was the one who was going to marry her, he was good to her kids. He played ball with them. He took me to their haircuts. Ashley's father was murdered also April 8th of last year. He was there for that. He went to, I worked for Stellantis, and we had a Christmas extravaganza last Christmas. He was there.
Formal.
The formal. He was there. He was always at my house. I cooked. He was part of the family. So I'm just really shook that he would do something like this.
Think about the family opens their arms up to this man to come into their lives, and now all this happens. So, I mean, things seem pretty positive, and it looks like he was putting on a good show for the family, which brings us to the next question in our investigation, which is, what was going on in their relationship, right? To get to where we are now, something's going on here. Something. Joining me to help us through this, author, certified mental health counselor Sharonda Brown is with us, and criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, and domestic violence expert Marie Pereira is with us. Thank you both. So we played that part of the interview where mom is talking about how her daughter and this man, everything seemed good. He was part of the family. They opened their arms up to him. But then they started to notice some things. Let's take a listen.
Can you describe any other stalking type incidents where he was doing that?
I don't know. A friend of hers said that she felt like somebody was always following her in her car. Something about another time he tried to make an appointment, but she found it was him, and she called him, and he confessed that it was him, and he just wanted to see her, that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Why did she decide to end it with him, or was it?
When we find out he had like 6 and 7 different pages, like on Facebook, he would have the same people on his page, like responding or replying or, you know, so whatever he posted, which is strange. The same 6 people are not going to always say something. You know, you're going to have different people, different days say things. And that's when we start realizing that something wasn't right with him.
Do you think those were fake or were...
Oh, they definitely were. He was good with computers and doing things on them and making fake pages, making fake documents. We just really didn't know who he was. We thought we knew him, but we really didn't. I knew that he had been there 2 days prior, acting like he was the client. He went on her website and booked an appointment to get his hair done, and then he came to her house. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and they didn't let him in. So here he is, 2-3 days later, boom, she's gone.
Some very strange, creepy behavior here. Sharonda Brown, your thoughts about what's going on in this relationship, and what's going on with this man, DeAndre Booker?
Most abusers, they warm up to the family. They are very charming. They do get very close because they need to study their prey. They will love on you. They will do everything right. And because they need people to trust them, they need people to believe in their efforts. Just like Mom said, I thought that she was going to be the one, that he married, and they will convince you of that. And then it becomes controlling, and then it becomes territorial, and then they become insecure. Who's that? Who's this person? They want to spot everything you're doing. And then it becomes overwhelming because it's not really love as it is control. And over time, this will become very abusive. And it sounds like she wanted to get out of it once she saw the signs and it was becoming unbearable for her. And ultimately, it ended in her demise.
Yeah, I mean, she was reading the vibes right? I mean, and once she started to notice this stuff, Marie, she's trying to end this relationship, but he's having no part of that.
I'm honored to be on with Sharonda Browns, by the way, and I agree 100%. It's all about insecurity, abuse, and a thirst for control. So they isolate, they denigrate, they try to reduce your self-esteem, and then when you don't respond, they destroy. So maybe she was a strong woman who was like, nah, I'm not here for it. You're hounding me. I'm working as a stylist. You're worried about men coming into my shop. Now I have to leave my home, go spend money on a salon because you're insecure. And maybe she just stood up for herself, and that's what happened that day. She was not here for it. And that's the most dangerous time, like you always say, Vinnie, when the person says, I've had enough, that's when the death and destruction comes to mind.
All right, Sharonda Brown, Marie Pereira, I know you're going to stay with us. We've got more to get to, including a big question. Where is Ashley Elkins? I'm Vinnie Politan. We continue our investigation of missing Michigan mom Ashley Elkins. Investigators say they believe she was murdered after searching her ex-boyfriend's home, but he has not been charged with murder. Why not? Here's the story. Where is missing Michigan mom Ashley Elkins? She vanished on January 2nd after leaving her home in the morning to run some errands. Her family was quickly concerned. Her phone led investigators to the apartment of her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker. His home was searched, and investigators believe they found evidence of extreme violence, and as a result are investigating this as a homicide. Booker was arrested and charged with lying to police. Meanwhile, search teams have continued to look for Ashley. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of a timeline here of what happened. And I think it's very illuminating as to some of the facts and beliefs of the family and of investigators here. And we begin on January 2nd, 2025, 8:30 a.m. That's when Ashley is last seen leaving her home, and that home is in Warren, Michigan. Now, flash forward 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. Ashley's mother, Monica, arrives at Ashley's house. Then Monica sends a text message to Ashley about a dream she had. She receives a suspicious reply, which says, "Aw, man." And Ashley's mom is like, she doesn't talk like that. She wouldn't say, "Aw, man." Then Monica calls Ashley on FaceTime. So she's going to FaceTime her and, try to contact her. But Ashley doesn't pick up, gets no answer. Then this is the part where it starts to get even more suspicious in the eyes of the family. A family member receives a text message from Ashley saying she is going to a beauty supply store in Roseville. Then Ashley's phone is turned off and then turned back on. That's suspicious. We've seen that in other cases. Now, what is the last known location of Ashley's phone? Well, it is at her ex-boyfriend's apartment. Where is that apartment? In Roseville. Now, flash forward 5 days, January 7th. Investigators find Ashley's gray 2010 Chevy Malibu a few miles from DeAndre's apartment in Roseville on Little Mac and 13 Mile Road. So that brings us to the next question in our investigation. It's an important one. It's the one the family really wants answered. Where is Ashley Elkins? From the evidence that we have, the timeline, what investigators are tracking, where is Ashley Elkins? Joining me, retired police officer of 2 decades, an expert at analyzing crime scenes, and he now actually trains investigators. Mike McCutcheon is with us. All right, Mike, looking at that timeline, a couple of things here. The text messages, the not picking up on FaceTime. What are your thoughts about her potentially being abducted like almost immediately as she's leaving her home that morning?
The family is going to know her normal behavior more than anyone. The police really going to focus on that. And you had said it. She doesn't talk like that. So I have a particular way of texting, and if all of a sudden I started sending you odd texts, you would be like, what is going on? That's the same here. So they're going to really have an understanding of how she behaves. And 10 minutes later to get an odd text from her like that is unbelievably suspicious. Then the turning the phone on and off. Let's be real. Nobody does that. Unless there's a problem with your phone. How many times have you turned your phone off in the last week if it wasn't for like a work-related incident or something? You don't. But for her to say, I'm going to be gone for a little bit and then turn the phone off, that is highly suspicious. Now, again, this is all circumstantial at this point, which is still valid evidence. It's still very good evidence. But that is unbelievably suspicious, just those two things alone. And then, of course, where we look, where was the last place this person was seen? At the boyfriend's house. The FBI even considers a phone to be part of your body. Like, that's how much we use our phones. They are always with us. And so for her phone to be there, she's either there or he has the phone and she's not there, because there's no way that she would be just out and about doing her errands, because that's the way we live now, is we always have our phone in reach. So I think that the digital footprint here is in what the family says is going to be particularly
Mine's in reach right now,
exactly.
too. Mine's in reach. Let's take a listen to Ashley's mom, Monica, talking about that morning and talking about the text messages and trying to contact her daughter.
When I got to her house, it was 8:40. She left at 8:30. I went in the house for a minute, came back out. I texted her I had a dream of her car being stolen. And she replied back, "Aw, man," which was weird to me. So I FaceTimed her. She didn't answer. So I said to her, just be mindful about your surroundings and, pay attention where you're going. And she didn't call back. That's not like her. And she never called back. And she never texts back. Ever.
Do you think that all man that wasn't like her, do you think that was her answering?
No, that was him. I believe he had her when she walked out that front door.
You know what's interesting, Mike? If we think about what mom thinks happened here, right? That DeAndre right away has abducted her. It's really abducted her in her car. Like, he is abducting her, but he's also stealing her car. And then a text message is sent from mom saying, "I had a dream about her car being stolen." Wow.
It's unbelievable. And I feel for the family, because I'm sure they're doing the what ifs. It's 10 minutes. She said she was there at 8:30 and then her mom was there at 8:40. I can imagine the pain that the mother's going through, saying, man, if I went 10 minutes earlier, we may have had a different outcome. It's unbelievable.
Now, let's get to the search, because we're looking at some video right now. This is from WXYZ, January 13th. Police confirmed to 7 News Detroit that they're currently searching a Macomb County landfill in connection to the case of missing Warren mother, Ashley Elkins. The Roseville Police Department, with help from about a dozen other law enforcement agencies, is leading the search at the Pine Tree Acres landfill in Lenox Township. Now, follow-up. Multiple police agencies spent hours on Tuesday investigating at the ex-boyfriend's Roseville home at the Hampton Court Apartments. Also on Wednesday, officials said there's a strong possibility of foul play in the case, likely occurring at the apartment complex. Using a search warrant, officials say they recovered significant evidence, including forensics. Officials seized a trash dumpster at the Hampton Court Apartments on Pinehurst Street near Fraser Road, south of 11 Mile Road. So, a lot to get into here. Let's begin with the search at the landfill. And there's a lot of challenges because it's cold, there's snow on the ground, all of that. What goes into that type of search? How do they have to do it? What are they looking for? And how difficult is it to find?
This is a monumental task. That particular landfill is over 700 acres. Now, all of it may not be landfill, but 700 acres is 500 football fields. 3 million tons of garbage a year is at this landfill. This is no small task. So what they would do is the landfill, though, however, will be able to guide them of about on these days from these particular communities, this is where we dump the trash. They're also going to have cadaver dogs for sure. And they're going to have to go through this by hand. This isn't, they're going to use equipment to get the trash out, but they're going to have to sift through this. And there's a lot of safety concerns. Methane gas, hydrogen sulfide, and then just think of all the garbage of just thousands and thousands of homes in that particular area being put there. Sharp items, needles, anything that you could think of. So they're going to be in their full PPE gear. They're going to pull that stuff out, but it is painstakingly slow because this is almost like they're excavating an archaeological site. That is how they're doing it, and it is going to take a tremendous amount of time.
And the conditions there are difficult right now with the cold. Now, they seized a trash dumpster, and that's the part of the story. So I'm wondering if they believe that he got rid of things twice, because it seems like they found something perhaps in that trash dumpster when it was seized, but maybe because of the passage of time, the dumpster had been emptied before, and he may have gotten rid of things more than once. Is that possible?
If it would be more than once. My speculation on this would be if they used any of those blood reagents that I spoke of earlier, and they located blood that was cleaned up, and for them they said, okay, we believe, or maybe they had a cadaver dog in the dumpster as well, and it indicated, and they thought that she had been in that particular dumpster, and that's why they're checking the landfill, because it doesn't, from the digital fingerprint that we're looking at, it doesn't look like he went to the landfill. So what I'm speculating is that she was in the dumpster and dumped in the landfill, so there must have been some type of evidence left behind in the dumpster that they located when they were searching it. So again, it could be hair, fibers, blood, could be a piece of clothing that got stuck in the dumpster that didn't actually get dumped. So that would be my suspicion, is that is what they're speculating.
Okay, and I mean, again, incredible work being done by investigators in this case. Mike McCutcheon, appreciate your insight tonight and your valuable time. Thank you so much. Still to come, how is Ashley's family holding up?
Did it give you any hope to hear the prosecutor say that they are still hoping that she's alive?
No.
How are we doing, guys? We're good? Okay.
You're on very shaky ground.
That is unreal.
People wanted answers, and people started locking their doors.
I did not do it to hurt anybody.
You know what it means. You know what you did, right?
Please hear me out. Please. This was a real-life soap opera. And I said, OJ, everybody thinks you're guilty.
Yesterday, I went and got them. I told the 10-year-old, he just screamed and hollered. And asked why would somebody do something like that to his mother, because she's so kind. And how she takes care of them. Who's supposed to take care of them now? And he's supposed to be a chef, and he's supposed to buy her house, and so he's supposed to cook for her. And they had plans, and now it's like he said he's not going to do anything now. He don't want to do anything anymore. And he's asked me questions like, is he going to his dad's, or he's got to stay there now? And I don't know. I can't break down. I've been strong this whole time, looking every day from day one. And it's like I can't really lose it, because now I got to take care of my grandsons.
Monica Elkins describing a moment where she, as a grandma, had to explain to her two grandsons that their mom is gone and she's not coming back. Brutal. Two boys, ages 10 and 7. There is a GoFundMe for these two children to support the future dreams of Ashley Elkins' two young sons. Ashley Lachey Elkins had big dreams for herself and her two young sons. Tragically, those dreams were cut short on January 2nd, 2025. Now at just 10 and 7, her boys face not only the loss of their beloved mother, but also uncertainty about their care and their future. We are committed to ensuring that they are well cared for and have the support and resources they need to keep dreaming and achieve the future their mother envisioned for them. That brings us to the next question in our investigation. This is not easy. How is Ashley's family holding up? And when you talk about her family, it begins with the two boys, but then her mom and everyone else in the family. How are they holding up through all this? Joining me, author, certified mental health counselor, Sharonda Brown, and criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, domestic violence expert, Marie Pereira. Sharonda, the children, the boys are 10 and 7. They're gonna have computers. They're gonna know about all these stories about mom. Their friends are going to know. What do these boys need, and can they persevere through this?
They're going to need a lot of honesty, a lot of support. They're going to need a lot of time off of media if possible. They're going to need time away from their peers. They're going to need time away from school. And then at some point, they're going to have to resume normalcy. We just don't know when that is. I think the important thing for children is to be told the truth, not necessarily details about what happened to their mom, but I think the honesty of what death is, what death means, and how to cope with that and how to grieve. And the sooner they get mental health treatment, there'll never be an easier way, but at least they'll have knowledge on how to cope and how to deal without them losing themselves, if that makes sense.
It's difficult enough to be a kid growing up. It's difficult enough.
Yes.
Marie, you've got a family now that is going to go through this process, right? There's a primary suspect. They're collecting evidence. They're searching for Ashley. Most believe at some point there will be charges. There'll be a case, there'll be a trial, all of that is going to happen. How do you help the family through this process? If you're part of that DA's office, if you're part of the state attorney's office, how do you do that?
You know, most DA's offices have departments that deal with victims. They afford them counseling, they refer them. And as Ms. Brown said, counseling is going to be key, because this is going to be a lifetime trauma that they have to deal with. The DA's office also has help when and if they find her body, to assist the victims with costs and things like that. So there is going to be follow-up, but all of that is never going to bring that woman back. She left behind 2 children. I would encourage everyone to donate to the GoFundMe, because at least that will be something that is alleviated. That's something that they may not have to worry about. Put the same energy that we put through other GoFundMes that are for less important things and donate to this cause. I think we need to pray for the grandma, because at the end of the day, she's gonna have to assume the role of mother. I'm a grandmother, I know how that feels. but I will never understand what the pain she's going through. Let's all pray for the family and donate to the GoFundMe. That is very, very important.
Sharonda, you know, I've seen so many families and spoken with so many families through the years who are going through all of this. And for this family right now, it seems the most important thing is to find her. And not find her because it's evidence. Find her because they want to find her and they want to lay her to rest. To me, that is extremely significant. And for most of the families, if not all the families I've spoken to, that is like on the top of their list, even before you get to justice and everything that takes place inside the courtroom.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is the first step to being able to decide how to grieve or what to do. And we need to know how we're supposed to process, and we can't do that without knowing that this is final. She has passed on. Now I can do something with this information. Without a body, there's still this uneven feeling, and there's still this open-ended part of their lives that would make it very difficult to move to the next level or move to the next step. And we know when we're grieving, the step that most people want to get to is acceptance, but it's really hard, and it makes it even harder when there is nobody, there are no answers, there is no closure. At least with closure, they can say, this is what it is, this is what we do next. They can compartmentalize a lot better. But when you can't, you're just going to be guided by your emotions, and that's that feeling stuck and that space of that immobility. And that is not a good place to be in when you're grieving, especially a mother who has to bury her child and then raise her children at the same time, siblings who are going to forever miss her. This is going to be a really, really tough transition, and they are stuck at the moment. So I don't think they're holding up at all in this moment, and that's normal.
Yeah, Marie, you know, when you see nice families like this and close families like this, and they go through what has happened here, it's so much more painful because of the closeness that they have. You know, we've seen some cases where you go to the courtroom and no one's there for the victim. That's not the case here. This is a painful loss.
She was very, very close to her daughter. She was very, very close to those children. And she's already anticipating assuming a role that she never wanted to assume. This is not going to be something that is easy. And like Sharonda said, it's going to be even harder if, God forbid, this is a no-body homicide prosecution. And that's why they locked him up, put him on ice, on not cooperating with the police and lying while they build up their case against him. He will be prosecuted, body or not, but I pray to God that they find her remains, gives her a proper burial to allow them to have some type of closure, like Sharonda says, because without a body, it adds insult to injury. It's like putting nail on an abscess.
Marie Pereira, Sharonda Brown, thank you so, so much. I appreciate it. I'll never understand it. Even though I've covered so many stories like it, a couple breaks up, then one side just can't handle it. They can't move on. There are more than 8 billion people in the world. Find someone else. Leave your ex alone. Don't leave children motherless. Don't leave a mother without her child. I don't get it. But hopefully investigators do, and we'll figure this one out. I'm Vinnie Politan. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.